The path to enlightenment is an enlightened path. Enlightened means a path lit by the light of enlightenment. But it may not be continuous, because along the path the light of enlightenment appears as sparks of light that goes on and off until you are enlightened. Therefore, the light after enlightenment is continuous. It is continuous because it is the intrinsic light of wisdom that is hidden in us. The capacity of wisdom is recognized as insight. It means after enlightenment, the insight never goes off. It cannot go off because it is not a light that would be on and then get off. That is the light of Nirvana, the supreme bliss of Nirvana, light of Nirvana. Buddha in his Tatya Nibbana Sutta says, Nirvana is not born, not an event, not something what you do, and not a composition of things that are available. It is the eternal nature within us. The nature of eternity. And that is hidden by the darkness of ignorance. Enlightenment means disappearance of that ignorance. Ignorance of what is right. Therefore, enlightenment means realizing the supreme truth that is referred to as Nirvana in Sanskrit and Nibbana in Pali, which is eternal and eternally blissful. But empty of all components of our mind, empty of all material manifestations. That is why Nirvana is called Sunyata, emptiness. That emptiness may appear and disappear in the path. Empty means empty of everything, that is why there is life, not covered by anything. We will call it an unconditional state of mind. Our normal mind is conditioned. Conditioned by our thoughts, conditioned by our feelings, conditioned by our beliefs, conditioned by our prejudices, conditioned by our fears, future hopes, expectations, targets, and so on. No such content is found in the enlightened mind. But on the path to enlightenment, that emptiness may appear on and off to disappear. It happens normally when you are in meditation, called insight meditation, that ultimately results in your realization of the ultimate truth. In meditation, you become things aware. That is called awareness, referred to in Pali as sati. Continuation of that awareness is called satipatthana, the path to enlightenment. You may become aware of the reality, but that awareness, due to your ignorance that has been gathered throughout your previous experiences, may crop up again. That means the reality may appear and disappear. The bliss of trances may appear and disappear. It means your mind is blissful while you are in meditation, in a meditational trance, where the mind is not thinking, while there is awareness. There is sensation. The path to enlightenment is being aware of our sensations, but choicelessly. Krishnamurti referred to it as choiceless awareness. Choiceless awareness is seeing things as they are, but that reality you experience on the path may not be the ultimate reality. You can be aware of the practical reality. That awareness happens through your senses. All our sense organs are very weak comparatively, because no sense organ, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no skin, no mind can see things really as they are. Therefore, in the path, the mind becomes aware of the apparent reality. The light is thrown on the apparent reality. When we are aware of the apparent reality means what we experience by the mind. What we experience by the mind can be called mental images. We cannot experience anything other than what our mind creates through the data supplied by sense organs. When you see something, we don't see the real nature of anything. We can see atoms. We can see subatomical particles. Now, in string theory, there are energy strings in everything. It's made of energy strings. We cannot see them. We cannot experience them. What we call, according to modern science, energy springs, the universal dynamism that the Buddha referred to as anicca, meaning dynamic. We cannot see the dynamism completely, but we can see the effects. Dynamic means everything is creative, changing. The universal creativity is called anicca because it is always creative means changing the state for something new. But that cannot last long. It can be changed again. Therefore, in science, the creativity or the creative power of the universe is referred to as universal energy, and it is not something static, it is always changing, creative, and that change is called transformation of energy. Every form gets changed constantly, any physical form. That means the transformation of the nature of the energy. It is because of this constant change of energy forms that nothing can retain a permanent identity. Buddha referred to this as the tilakkana, or the triple aspect of our nature. Nature is dynamic, that is anicca. Because of dynamism, the nature is constantly in a state of transformation, that is dukkha. As everything gets transformed constantly, nothing can retain a permanent identity. The first disciple of the Buddha called Kondanya, who listened to the Buddha's first discourse called Dhammacakkappavattana, is referred to have realized that all mental forms are born to decay and die. They appear to disappear. Like clouds, they pass away. They come and go, mental forms that we call our thought forms. In the first discourse of the Buddha called Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Buddha mentioned that his first disciple realized that all mental forms are born to die. In Buddha's words, Yankinchi samudaya dhammam sabbanta nirodhammanti. They appear to disappear. If everything appears to disappear and we cannot hold on to anything, we can't get hold of anything because as soon as they disappear. That is why Heraclitus, the Greek philosopher who lived in the 5th century BC, said, "No one can step into the same river twice. Once we touch the river, step into the river once, and when we try to step into the second time, the river that we stepped into on the first occasion has gone down, gone away." It is the nature of everything. When we touch our body once, and if we try to touch it again, we are touching a different body. Because all the atoms have changed. All the electrons have changed their position, their nature. All protons and neutrons have changed their position. They are always dynamic, changing. It is this reality, the reality of the material world, that you realize on the path to enlightenment. Therefore, the path to enlightenment throws a light onto the material world. Enlightenment means going beyond the material world. What we call material world is not the world outside, but the world that our own mind has created within ourselves. As I mentioned earlier, we can experience nothing other than what is created by our mind through the help of sensory organs, which are weak to see, to understand, to experience the real nature of anything outside us. Therefore, the world created by our mind within ourselves is not the ultimate truth that we can experience. As they are mental forms, we refer to them as thoughts. thoughts means, thinking means a process of creating mental images, one after the other. A line of mental images. Thinking means a line of mental images. A process of making mental images that appear, disappear instantly. Therefore, although we said that path to enlightenment is an enlightened path, it throws light not to the ultimate nature of the final truth, Nirvana, but to the practical nature, the apparent nature of the material world that we create within our own mind. That means our thought process. In meditation, we become aware of things means we become aware of our own thoughts. For example, we become aware of our mother or father. After seeing them, or even without seeing them, we can be aware. In both occasions, what we really become aware is not the mother or father outside, but the mental image created within our own mind with the data supplied by our eye, which is incapable of knowing the real nature of anything. That means the material world that we experience inside our mind is a distorted world. It is an illusion, not a real world. When you think of mother or father, wife or husband or child, son or daughter, they appear within our mind real to us, but they are only images. They are only reflections. The type of reflection that we experience in a mirror. Our mind is a mirror that shows us the reflections of the outside world with the help of the signals given by our sensory organs. The actual reality the Buddha's first disciple realized by listening to the Buddha's first discourse called Dhammacakkappavattana is that all mental forms appear to disappear instantly, one after the other. Then one realizes there is nothing we can hold on to, that we can catch. If we can catch anything, we can't throw away anything. To throw away, we have to catch something. We can catch nothing. The same river cannot be stepped twice. Not even once, actual reality. When we think of stepping into the river, and when we step into the river, that we thought of stepping into has gone down. Therefore, we cannot touch the same river even once. While we are touching, it has disappeared. That's what happens to our thought forms. Then through that we understand the ultimate reality is nothingness. No thing, nothingness. Void. That ultimate void is referred to by the Buddha as Nibbana in Pali, and it's called Nirvana in Sanskrit. The actual reality within our mind is the empty mind. The mind empty of its content. That means a mind that is neither thinking nor feeling. A mind free of all sensations, all thought formations, an empty mind. And when you realize that, we can call it the realization of the ultimate reality. that we realize instantly, like a spark. Things appear, as soon as it appears, it disappears. Then that appearance, we realize it is an illusion. There's nothing real in it. An imaginary form. Maybe mother, father, or husband, or wife, or tree, or village, or country, or the world, they are all mental images, not actual realities, but reflections, illusory reflections. Realization of that fact, the fact that the material world we experience is an illusion, can be said to be throwing light into our own mental world. That is why the path to enlightenment can be called an enlightening path, where the light appears to disappear. Because habitually our mind has been trained to accept all our mental images, all our thoughts as something real based on reality. But while we go deep into them, as I mentioned earlier, there's nothing real in them. They are all illusions. All illusions are made by our thinking process. Enlightenment means the ending of creating illusions through the mental process. Creating mental illusion through thinking process is metaphorically referred to as the mental darkness. We see illusion means we do not see the reality. But all of a sudden, we realize that what appears is disappearing, and there's nothing in it. Understanding nothingness means understanding Nirvana, the nature of Nirvana. The nature of Nirvana is referred to as Sunyata in Pali, Sunyatva in Sanskrit, meaning void, nothingness, no thing. And that is the reality we realize, but habitually our mind is trained to think of or accept our mental formations as realities. That is why we love our wife, children, girlfriend, boyfriend, parents, elders, etc. Our country. We love certain things and beings. We hate certain things and beings, accepting them as realities, though they are not realities. The path to enlightenment means accepting or admitting these sensations as sensations only. That is the shortest cut Buddha preached his people called Behaviour to get enlightened. When your sense organs become aware of external objects, just be aware of the sensation. But don't think of these, don't make mental images with the help of past experiences. For example, when we hear the voice of our father, mother, brother, sister, son or daughter or friend, that signal sent by our ear to our mind, our brain, create image of the person who sent that sound signal. And what we create image, that image is not the person who made that sound, but that image appears real to us. Oh, my father is speaking to me, my mother or brother or sister or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend is speaking to me. That is how you feel. That is our normal nature that creates ignorance or darkness in our mind. It is through this ignorance we like certain mental images, we dislike certain mental images. Enlightenment means the disappearance of that ignorance, that liking and disliking. Ignorance is called in Buddha's language moha, liking is called raga, disliking was called dosa. Enlightenment means the disappearance or extinction of liking, disliking, and the ignorance that causes our liking and disliking. Therefore, the enlightened are called vitaragi, vitadosi, vitamohi, free of likes, dislikes, and ignorance. That means free of darkness. Ignorance is metaphorically compared to darkness. Enlightenment means seeing the light. Accepting our sensation of our sense organs as sensation only and not going to create mental images by your way of thinking is the path to enlightenment. That means there is light fallen on the reality of our mental image. In accepting sensation as sensation only, not as realities, they are signals, they are only reflections. Your thinking is called reflecting. Reflections are not realities. They are only illusory images. Enlightened mind is a mind that gets illuminated by understanding the reality. And ultimately, once you get enlightened, your realization of reality becomes perfect. Till enlightenment, the enlightening is made of sparks. Sparks appear, disappear instantly. After enlightenment, the light, the disappearance of ignorance becomes perfect and permanent. It is different from the light on the path that appear to go, that becomes on to go off. But it is this spark of light called our insight that make our path to enlightenment is also enlightened. Therefore, the path to enlightenment is also a path of an enlightened path. But once you become enlightened, the light never disappears. Because it is not a light that appears, that happens, that is born. That is the light of eternity, called Nirvana in us. That is why in the first sermon called Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta, The enlightening of the mind is referred to as aloka udapadi. They realized light appeared, metaphorically saying, ignorance disappeared. The path to the disappearance of ignorance is a graduated path. Ignorance disappears little by little. As said in Dhammapada, Toka Tokang Kane Kane, little by little from moment to moment. But somehow other disappearance of darkness called ignorance and appearance of light called insight happens gradually until the light becomes eternal. It is eternal because that light is neither born, nor created, nor made, nor composed, as Buddha made a statement in the Tatya Nibbana Sutta in the Buddhist canon. And that light is in us. And with that light, we can tread the path to enlightenment, after which the light becomes permanent. It is not becoming permanent. The permanent, eternal light of Nirvana, the eternal bliss, appear in us, never to disappear.